Welcome to It's a Snap. Save time, save money, eat healthy podcast. We help people discover small changes in food and activity choices that make a big difference in their overall health across a lifetime. And here's your host, Senior Snap Ed Nutritionist Wanda Collins.
Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My guest today is Kim Merklein, Snap Ed Community Nutrition Educator from the Capital Region. Today's topic, Wallet Power of the 3 Ps. Welcome, Kim.
Hi, Wanda. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I love talking with you. You have so much to share with us. And I am interested in you sharing with us about wallet power because it sounds like something we all could use, especially this day and age with groceries going up in price and gas going up. So what are the 3 Ps and how might they help my wallet?
All right. So the 3 steps to think about in order to eat healthy on a budget is plan, purchase, and prepare.
Oh, well, those sound like pretty easy things to do, I think. So let's think about how those 3 Ps, I love that, 3 Ps, can control my food budget then while not sacrificing my health. And I think this is something we all could learn. So go ahead and break it down for us.
Okay. So the first P is plan. And let's start with a story.
Ooh.
I'm going to read the story, and then you listen carefully and just tell me what you pick up on.
Oh, that sounds great. I love that. And listeners, I might suggest you get a paper and pencil out handy if you can and listen in and see if you can hear the same things that I hear. You might even hear better than me. So go ahead, Kim. Let's hear the story.
Okay. This is Rodney's story. And Rodney says, I plan what I'm going to make for dinner for the whole week. Then I make out my grocery list and never shop hungry. This way I stick to my list and don't buy pricey items on a whim. Since I have all the ingredients for my meals, I'm not tempted to order pizza or run out for fast food. Eating at home keeps me on budget, and I'm eating better too.
Wow.
So Wanda, what just picked up on there?
Wow, it sounds like Rodney is really doing some cool things. One thing I heard him say that really stands out to me is not go shopping hungry. That is really that is a dead one for me. But I did hear also that he plans his meals ahead of time. And I think that's a great idea. I'm wondering where he could purchase some of or get some recipes, that kind of thing.
Well, we do have some great recipes on snapedny.org. We even have cooking demos for some of the recipes, so you can check them out and watch somebody show you how to make the recipes.
Oh, wow. That is excellent. And now that I think about it, I have seen those on there. And I have to say, those recipe demos are awesome. You really get to see what they're doing. So I also heard him say something about looking in his cupboards before he makes his grocery list, I think. And I can't remember other things.
Yeah, that's right. So you want to plan your meals out for the week. Or maybe sometimes people say a week is too much. They just want to do Monday through Thursday or a half a week, whatever works for you and how often you shop. But try to plan out at least 3 or 4 days anyways. And then once you have your meals planned out, look in your cupboards so that you're not buying duplicate things. You have your meals, you know what ingredients you need, look in your cupboards and see what you have. And then after that, whatever you don't have, you're going to make that grocery list like you talked about. So you just itemize everything that you don't have in your cupboards that you're going to need for the meals that you planned out. And then once you have that list, look for sales and coupons. So the sales, you can go online usually and compare prices and look at what different stores have sales in your area. And there's lots of different apps for coupons now too. So I would just research the coupons or research apps for coupons. And then you can look and see which ones would work best for you.
Oh, that's a great idea. I know I have a store coupon or a store app that I can go through before I go into the store, and it brings up coupons for things that I like to buy. And I could just click on them, and when I check out, they scan the code and I get my coupons, which is good for me because I am notorious for forgetting coupons at home, including grocery lists. I started using the notes section on my phone to keep track of my groceries because I'd walk out the house, get to the store and send my husband a text and say, hey, can you take a picture of the grocery list? So send it to me.
Yeah, I know. We've all done that before, and our phones are a great way to, keep everything in one place.
Yeah. So, okay, so that sounds really good. I love this idea of planning ahead. I think it can work for a lot of things, but definitely going to the grocery store so I don't get sucked into, oh, I think I need this. Oh, I think I need that. I can just buy what I need. That makes a lot of sense. So the second P is purchasing. What can you tell us about purchasing?
Well, why don't we start with another story?
Yay. I love stories. Go for it.
This one is Carla's story. And Carla says, I buy fresh fruits and vegetables in season to save money. If I want berries in the winter, I buy the frozen kind. If I see a good price on chicken breasts, I buy several packs on sale and freeze to use later in the month.
Wow.
Okay, so what'd you pick up on there, Wanda?
Okay. So listening to that, I love the idea of buying store brand. I do that for a lot of foods because they really are just as good as the name brand, but they cost way less. And I do like to purchase fresh vegetables, but when they're out of season, they're so expensive. So I tend to buy frozen vegetables or fruits. And I do like some dried fruits because they go really well if I make my own trail mix. So that's good. And one thing that she mentioned is about coming prepared with her list and coupons, which we talked about before, but I can't remember. There was something else and I didn't write it down.
Well, she bought several packs on sale of the chicken breast, so she's buying in bulk when something is on sale.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense too. But when I get it home, I mean, what's hard about that is if you buy the bulk pack, what do I do with it so I don't have to freeze, like if I freeze this whole thing and then I have to defrost it in my refrigerator, now the whole thing's defrosted and I only wanted a little bit.
You can put them in freezer bags, so separate them if you get a big thing of it, and then separate it for what you think your family will eat. I even make a little bit extra, and we'll talk about that in the next step. So if you think your family will have 4 chicken breasts, maybe put 6 of them in a freezer pack so that you have a little extra to reuse as for leftovers.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but that really makes a lot of sense. Just break it into packages. So it sounds like planning and purchasing go hand in hand. And this all sounds like it's not super complicated. It's actually pretty easy. So just really briefly, I'd like to take an opportunity to remind our listeners that you are listening to It's a Snap, Save Time, Save Money, Eat Healthy podcast. And if you'd like to make small changes that can make a big difference in your life, or find recipes, or find your local New York State SNAP-it office near you, please visit our website, snapedny.org. That's snapedny.org. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And please subscribe to the podcast so that you can catch all the latest SNAP-Ed news. So let's go back a little bit and just sum up what we have talked about so far. So we talked about planning, which is including finding low-cost recipes on snapednewyork.org, making a grocery list, and checking for coupons and sales. And I really like the idea of using our phones for some of that because I always have my phone with me and I always have the coupons. So then when at the store purchasing items, I should pay attention to what's on the store brands are, what's on sale, the unit pricing, the convenience foods, and comparing prices. And I think that is all I can remember of what we talked about. Did I miss anything?
There's a couple of things that we could go into a little bit more detail about. I know you mentioned convenience foods. I just want to clarify what that is because you can walk into the store and you'll see a bunch of peppers maybe cut up, or you'll see the bag of salad, things like that. But it will save you money to just get your own head of lettuce and chop it up yourself rather than getting the chopped salad that's in a bag. So that's the convenience cost that we're talking about that you want to try to avoid. And I think that we also have to talk about looking through your cupboards before you actually make your list. So you've planned your meals, make sure you look and see what you already have so you're not buying duplicates. And when fruits and vegetables are not in season, you want to be looking at frozen and canned to try and save money. And I like to mention this because some people don't like to buy frozen and canned. They're not aware that frozen and canned is just as nutritious as fresh because it's picked at peak freshness and then those nutrients are preserved. And I even argue sometimes during the winter time that frozen strawberry is going to be more nutritious than the one on the shelf. Because the one on the shelf that's fresh was picked before it's actually ripe, and then it's shipped from, across the country or maybe even a different country before it gets to your shelf. It's had a long life, and it's losing nutrients the whole time in order to get to the shelf.
Oh, wow.
Where the frozen one was picked at peak freshness and then preserved. So a lot of times those frozen and cans are even more nutritious during the winter time.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I also have wondered about canned. I know that you can purchase healthier canned products. Could you share with everyone what they should be looking for with canned?
Yes, you want to look for a low sodium can. And even with low sodium, I always make sure that I rinse it really well too.
Is that going to cost people more money to buy the low sodium over the full sodium canned vegetables?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And again, look for store brands too.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And I just want to reiterate, because this really is one of my big things. Never go to a grocery store hungry, because then everything in the store looks good and you'll purchase things, you'll get out to your car and think, why did I buy that? And it's because you were hungry. So just to reiterate, don't ever go to the store hungry.
Right. You'll buy foods that are not as healthy for you because you're hungry and you'll just buy anything.
That's right.
And you'll end up blowing your budget too.
Yeah, that's really true. That is really true. So it sounds like plan and purchasing goes hand in hand. You have to plan in order to purchase what you need. Now, could you just remind us what the third P is for our wallet power?
Yes. The last step is prepare. That's our third P. So should we do one more story?
I would love another story. It's so much easier for me to learn that way. And I hope our listeners are enjoying the stories and making notes so that they can also have wallet power.
All right, then. So our last story is Padma's story. Stretch your food dollars by making a second meal from leftovers. Just add items you already have in your pantry. I took last night's leftover baked chicken and cut it into small pieces. Then added canned black beans, a chopped onion, 2 cloves of garlic slices, and some chopped tomatoes. I made a low-cost, tasty meal in 15 minutes, and my family got a healthy dinner.
Oh, wow. Wow. So I have to tell you, I really like this one because I tend to use my leftovers for lunch the next day. So we always make a little extra so I can have lunch the next day. But I like the idea of changing it up, and that recipe sounds delicious. Do you suppose there's one like that on the SNAP-Ed website?
Oh, I'm sure that there is. There's lots of recipes like that on the SNAP-Ed website. The nice thing about those recipes is they're easy to make and they're low cost and they're all healthy and nutritious.
That is really good. So that one was, what was it? It was chicken, black beans, garlic, onion. I can't remember the other.
Canned tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, the canned tomatoes. Yeah, that really sounds good. Maybe I'll make that tonight for dinner. That sounds really good. So she uses her leftovers wisely, and she has no-cook meals. Is that true? Does she ever do that?
Yeah, no-cook meals are a great way to go. You can make a sandwich very easily or a healthy wrap that has some protein, whatever protein you might have left over, and add, stuff it with veggies too.
So she was using chicken. I'm sorry, I just realized something. She was using chicken, but she also threw beans in with her stuff. Are beans a protein food as well?
Yeah, beans are one of my favorite foods because they are protein, but they are also considered a vegetable because although they're high in protein, they also have a lot of the similar vitamins and minerals that fruits and vegetables have.
Oh, wow. So that would be a good protein source.
It is. Yeah, that's a great way to save money. I tell people to try to go 1 or 2 nights maybe without having any meat. You'll find when you're doing the planning part of this that meat tends to be the most expensive part of your food budget. So trying to cut back on meat and use different protein sources, like having breakfast for dinner, using eggs, make an omelet stuffed with veggies and have some whole grain toast with it. That's fast, easy, nutritious, and that's a good source of protein. And also using beans is a great way to replace the meat source.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea. Now, do you use dried beans very much?
I do. I like to use dried beans. You will save money using dried beans, but I also keep the canned beans around because the dried beans you do have to soak overnight. So I like to keep canned beans around for convenience when I don't have something planned or I need to put something together real quick, or I just forgot to soak them overnight and then I have some canned available.
Okay, so soaking them overnight and then they cook for a little while the next day and they're good to go, right?
Right. And when I do that, I tend to make a lot of them because I like to cook while I have time. I do that with things like brown rice. I do that with my beans and even the chicken. Doubling up on what you make when you have a night to be able to make dinner is going to save you time maybe the next night when you don't have so much time.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like that. So we have planning, which includes making sure I get a grocery list, bringing the coupons with me, going to SNAP-Ed and picking up some recipes that are quick and simple. And I have purchasing, which if I do my planning right, I get my purchasing done right, correct? Did I miss anything there?
No, you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
So then purchasing, I bring it home, I have to then prepare my food. And you've given me some really good ideas of how to prepare it. And I like the idea. I'm still stuck on the beans. I really like the idea of using those beans because they are so quick and easy and they come in no salt added as well, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Oh, cool. So then I can rinse them. If I have no salt added, do I still need to rinse them or can I use the juice that's in there?
I always rinse them when they come out of the can.
Oh, okay. I do too, but then I thought maybe I don't have to. That'd be good. So these are all super great tips, and I think I can feel some of that wallet power happening now because it is. So it's so good that there's a way to save money and eat healthy, which is what we try to promote. So I want to thank you for that. And I think we have covered it. Is there anything we've missed? Something else you'd like to share with us?
Well, I have a couple of thoughts that we could put out there. One thing is to drink water. It's free, right?
Yeah.
And it's the best choice for you too. So it's a lot healthier than anything you're going to get at the store, and it's free. So that's a great way to save money is just drink water.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you can get creative with it, like make lemon water and keep it in your refrigerator so it's nice and cold all the time, or just take it out of the tap. So drink water is a big one for saving money. And
I have to say, one of the things I like to throw out there in my drinking water is I like to put cucumbers in the water too, because then the water tastes kind of like a cucumber. And when it's done, I can eat the cucumbers and they're super crunchy because they've been in water in the refrigerator. So that's one of the things I like to do with my water.
I like that.
And anything else?
Just keep in mind planning ahead and preparing your own meals brings you closer to eating nutrient-dense meals that nourish your body instead of harming your body the way fast food choices often do. So you are saving money by doing this, but you're also nourishing yourself and eating healthier. And you can make every bite count by planning and preparing your own meals. Everything you eat over time matters. So remember that while you're taking the extra steps to plan ahead, it'll save you money and keep you healthy.
Oh, that is all really good stuff. I do have to ask this is one of the things that I like to think about. If I plan my meals out and I go and buy what I need for those meals, and then one night, let's say all of a sudden everybody drops in and you decide to order a pizza that night, I still have that meal in my cupboard so that I don't have to purchase that stuff again. So there is it's kind of nice to have that extra meal up there in the cupboard. So, I mean, where I live, it wouldn't be anything to get a huge amount of snow and not be able to get to the grocery store. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to know that you can stock your pantry and do it cheaply so that you always have food on hand. So I really like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, I like to keep my pantry stocked with things like whole grain pasta, brown rice, cans of beans, canned tomatoes, and have some frozen vegetables on hand as well. Frozen vegetables, they'll save you money during the winter, but they're also convenient because they're already cut up. You don't have to really do a lot of work for them, so you can make a quick stir fry. But having those types of things on hand definitely comes in handy.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So thank you for that too, sharing what you stock your pantry with. Is there any other things you put in your pantry that you would make sure you have on hand? Because I'm thinking, like, if I'm planning my meals and I go to my pantry and I need rice for a meal and I'm almost out of rice, it might work for the meal I have, but I should put that on my list so that I have it. So when I use that rice, I still have rice in there to grab. Should I do it that way?
That's what I do, yep. I have a list on my refrigerator, so when things in my pantry that I like to keep stocked gets low or I run out, I put that on my list.
Oh, that makes
also
sense.
goes to my shopping list for the week.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So you kind of do your grocery list throughout the week, not just when you're heading to the store.
Yeah. I look at my recipes on the weekend, on Sundays, because that works for my schedule. But I also have a list on the refrigerator of little things here and there that we've run out of that I want to stock back up on too.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love that. And you can get those little, in fact, I know someone who just had a pad of paper that they got from something they went to, and they just stuck a magnet on the back and put that up on their refrigerator. So I thought, that's a smart idea. Smart idea.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you, Kim, for joining us. Is there anything else before we say our goodbyes?
I think we covered everything, Wanda.
Oh, that's awesome. So what I would say to our listeners is I would really appreciate it if you liked our podcast and you subscribe to it. But I also would like to remind you that you can go back and listen to this podcast again and get some of those tips again. If you missed any, you can write them down on a sheet of paper. They're all very helpful. So I want to say thank you, Kim. This has been so helpful, and I want to thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Wanda. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, too. It's always fun to talk with you about food. I love food. Anyway.
Don't we all?
I know. Some of us love it a little more than we should sometimes. So I want to thank you, listeners. And remember, subscribe to our podcast. Visit our website, snapedny.org, and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP-Ed New York. The program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP-Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.